All right, welcome back, everyone. I need to call this video no seriously last take because I keep having to redo it. But I'm taking this one. So here we are looking at the Invictus page. So if you go to the RSI page, you will see there's a transmission or a link to this particular timer. And so just really quick for the launch week stuff, so Fleet Week will be in 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks with that timer, as you see. It'll go from May 15th to the 27th. I plan on doing a follow-up video talking a little bit about like a pregame on how I like to do these events, or like how I like to think about from a ship sell standpoint and getting store credit back and how I like to use that. I plan on doing that video soon, but I'll wait until the postings come up in Spectrum about the whole limited timeframes. There should be 3 timeframes for each of these particular ships manufacturers for their whole limited hulls. So I'll wait for that before I do that particular video. I'll also have in the intro a part where I'm not here to sell you on ships. So if you don't want to buy any more ships, I will make sure to kick you out of that video before you start watching it, because I'm not here to sell you on ships. So with this Invictus video, they'll do this a lot. They do it with IAE. They do it quite a bit. They show ships that you maybe don't recognize. And this is the ship in question here today. There's also a ship off to the side. Let me know if you think there's anything to look into here. I didn't see anything. I can't quite tell what that is way over there. So we have Titan, we have a Terrapin. I felt like that could have been another Terrapin, but it's not. Polaris, Valkyrie, there's a Hammerhead. We don't know what this is. There's a Guardian here, Starlancer Attack. We have a couple Gladiuses. We have some F8s that fly over and a Firebird. So all that stuff is easy to identify. The challenge here is this one. So I do have a video where I kind of slow this down. You can see this VTOL. My first thought was, is it the Paladin? This VTOL is pretty small. Matter of fact, it's probably what the Terrapin VTOL. It's tiny compared to like the Valkyrie and that ship that's just in the video. This is definitely not it. So the question begins to be, well, are we looking at the Asgard? So let's take a look here. I've slowed this down quite a bit, and I'll slow it down again actually, because I have let it go back faster. A little bit too slow. We'll do 0.5. So I have a section where I've slowed it down using my editing software. So this is the address. This is what we're in as a point of reference. So from a size perspective, we're in a capital here, right? From the captain's perspective. But we'll turn off to the side here and we'll be able to see, the target we're looking for. So a lot of people think this is potentially the Asgard, and I was sold on that as well, and I was having my dreams crushed that it was not going to be a capital ship. It still possibly could be a Valkyrie type variant. I'm not sold on that, clearly, because I'm coping on this right now. But I think we're looking at a ship here that can be identified, and I'm fully sold that I think I know what it is. And I appreciate there was a Scandinavian person that was pointing this out to me. His name is Storvazian, and I hope I said that right. But what we're looking at here is a VTOL here. This appears to be a turret. And then this is a VTOL up here. And this VTOL obviously is much easier to identify. You'll also notice there's a differentiation in height between these two VTOLs. There's a straight edge on the back wing here, and this triangular shape here. I don't know how else to put it. And there's a pretty specific anvil VTOL being shown here. The other challenging part that I can't explain and doesn't line up is this part here. So I don't know what's going on with this. There could be another ship that we can't see in the frame. It could be a part of the Idris. Who knows? The other part I want to point out, though, is the ship does do a turn. And that references it as kind of being a relatively small ship in comparison. It's turning here, and this is the second VTOL. This is a tiny ship. Not tiny, tiny, but this is a smaller profile ship. This is definitely not something the size of a Valkyrie. When I saw this, I was like, goodness gracious, like how terrible is this Asgard? And because I was sold 100% that it was the Asgard. It is not. And I don't think it is. So I'm now sold on the idea that it is potentially the Legionnaire. So we'll hop over to the Legionnaire page, and thankfully, Carmarel, sorry, has recently done a video with some of the discussion around the Legionnaire and its concept art, and that'll help us further divide. So I appreciate his video. I'll put a link in the description to that particular video. And this is what we're looking at here. Now, the art they have chosen here is not great, so that's why I'm going to go over to this video. And you can see here pretty instantaneously. It's harder to tell with this VTOL because it's the concept art. This one is a pretty good indication. You can see the 2 engines here. This is a pretty good standout, at least in my mind, right? So this VTOL here, there's a couple spots. Okay, this looks even better. So you can see the 2 engines here on this particular VTOL. You can also see the height differentiation that it's almost like a scarab or something like that, like a beetle or something like that, that the Legionnaire seems to kind of fit with. You can see the turret on the top. So as we go back over this one, because it happens to be in a white kind of concepty type picture. Additionally, this is the Idris here. I recognize this piece here as well as the where the docking collar is. This is the front of the Idris. And so it's a good reference point. If you were to turn this to the side, use your little imagination here. If this were to turn, I think it lines up perfectly with what we're looking at here. So if this ship turns, you can see the dual VTOL engine here, and we have a straight edge with that triangular. And this concept art is not going to fully line up with what was ultimately released, but it's pretty close, right? So you have the turret up here. The part, again, I can't answer is there is nothing back here behind the VTOL. So if in fact, when it turns like that, if there's other things going on there, unless they've done some pretty significant changes, or maybe they have the hangar hanging out, because the hangar actually hangs out quite a bit. That being said, I'm very excited for Legionnaire. I originally kind of went on about how the Legionnaire should be able to fit in a capital ship, because our biggest problem we have, or one of the big problems I see we have in the game, is all these drop ships. None of them fit in any of the capital ships. So you can't just like load up your Marines or crew members you have in a capital ship and drop down to something. The best thing we have right now is the MPUV personnel carrier. And that's not a drop ship. That's just it's a tugboat almost, if you will. Sorry, we have a new doggo, and she's very excited right now. I think she's probably barking to herself in the mirror. She does that with the reflections. If you even get this, my AI kind of audio thing may cut it out. At any rate, I think I'd like to see them introduce this ship. I get it that the hacking gameplay is not in, so the ability to actually do this now, docking it, I think is one thing, but the ability to actually do hacking gameplay to get in there, I understand it's not probably not done. I highly doubt it's done. But I think they introduce it anyways, just so we can get our hands on it, because otherwise it's a functional ship, right? It still has the ability to unload people and load people in the front and the back. Um, yeah, I mean, I think there's really no major reason to hold on to this thing, as it should be pretty much flight ready. The only challenge I have with it, from when I was originally looking at this, is I went back to look at the height, and it is too tall. Like, what is going on here? I don't know why they did this with this ship. The 13 meters tall, if this is accurate, it is small, so I have to wait for the Liberator or the Kraken to actually put this on a pad. That's really unfortunate to me. I was hoping it would maybe fit in the Idris of the Polaris. That's looking like that's not going to happen. With this height, it's too tall. It's taller than the Vulture, which is like 9 meters, so it won't fit in the Polaris. This 13 is significantly taller than the Nomad, and the Nomad, if memory serves, has a hard time in the Idris. So this is disappointing. I don't. Maybe they've come down on this. I don't think so, but yeah. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is do you think this is some other ship, or are you as well sold on the idea that this is potentially the Legionnaire down here? So again, as it turns, dual engines, dual VTOLs like that. There's a kind of a VTOL in the front. There's a mount on the top. I'm sold. I think it's Legionnaire. I don't know if. What do you think? Do you think it's an indication I'll actually release it to people? I think it's kind of a terrible tease to show people the Legionnaire like this and then not release it. Might as well. Again, it's minus the hacking gameplay. It's a fully functional ship that would work fine in the verse, and it would offer plenty of gameplay opportunity as a drop ship, like many of the other drop ships that don't really have a place right now as it is. So just get it out there. Let's get her going. So let me know what you think. I appreciate those time sharing their thoughts. I mean, it really gets my. I mean, that's where some of this content comes from. Literally, y'all's ideas and thoughts and stuff that I get from the community. I don't just come up with this out of midair. Like, a lot of you all actually come up with this stuff, and I just share it with you from And I like to give credit to the people that do that stuff. So again, Storvazen, I appreciate you putting that comment. It wasn't even my video; it was another video, and so I appreciate that. That content, those comments help drive doing comment and commentary and doing content that I wouldn't have necessarily done, or someone else wouldn't have seen. So yeah, thank you all for checking out the video. I appreciate those taking to like and subscribe, and let me know what you think. I'll catch y'all next time. Peace.